Good afternoon, everybody, and good evening for all of our friends across the pond, because today the show is actually originating in Minnesota, but we are still live from London. It is so great to see you. I'm telling you, we are starting right now with, of course, the Northern Lights. Why are we talking about the Northern Lights? Well, we're going to share that with you in just a minute. It's really exciting. Of course, the guy who started it all, Pete Hall, here from London, Ontario. No, London, England.
London, England.
Right?
And it's not Northern Lights in London, England at the moment, unfortunately. I wish.
I'm sure it's not, but you do drink tea with your little finger out, and that's what counts. All righty.
There we go.
And then down here, sort of. There, he's got his tea. He's even got it. Is it red rose tea, of course?
What tea? It's Earl Grey.
Ew, it's Earl Grey.
It's a cup of Earl Grey.
Good. I've got my special cup.
I have Earl Grey too.
Yeah. No, it is Earl Grey too. That's what you have, Earl Grey too, when he got done drinking tea. All right, and we have a special guest today. I have known this guy. Well, he doesn't know it, but I've actually known him his entire life, because when I was younger than he is now, when we would come from our Lake of the Woods cabin, we would sneak across all these gravel roads, and we would end up at his father's nightclub, which is part of their big resort holdings. And we would go over there and watch bands until they threw us out at 1 o'clock in the morning. And then we'd go back and get sunburnt and fish the whole next day. I would like to introduce you to quite a gentleman, and he and his family run a giant operation on two ends of one of the bigger freshwater lakes. If you take out the Great Lakes, you throw the Great Lakes away, and then we're down to the freshwater lakes. His name is Gregg Hennum. We're going to give him top billing here. We're going to move him to the top. Hey, welcome, Gregg. Welcome to the show.
Happy to be here. We're on the bump of the chimney atop of Minnesota.
The chimney, a great thing. It goes across from Washington State to Minnesota. And then, did you ever understand why they did that? Was it an error or was it a bet? How come Minnesota got that little divot up there?
I believe it was a survey error. Technically, that's what happened. Surveying, made a mistake.
It must have been a foreigner, because nobody in Minnesota would have made an error like that. So it must.
The surveyors were drinking bourbon.
I think they were.
We're lucky to have it, though.
We are. What a great thing, because there's a piece of it that you can it's a piece of Minnesota, but you can't get to it unless you either go through customs, go through Canadian customs, drive up through Canada about 18 miles. Tell me if I'm wrong. And then from there, you drive back into Minnesota, and you're at this little place up there that's part of Minnesota, but completely landlocked, other than if you come across the water. And about 20 years ago, the Sportsman's Lodges organization said, we're going to fix that. And they actually started both passenger service and took over what was a sort of going on set of lodges at the other end, and made it all into one conglomeration. And I don't mean a bad word by conglomeration. I mean, it just kind of started exploding at that time, because you could stay on one end, or you could arrive one day and stay the night then at the south end. Then you could take the big boats, and you can take your time and go fishing and end up at the north end. And you can stay at the north end as long as you want, or any variation. But by doing so, you see some of the most pristine country that you can see. I'm going to show you some pictures of that a little later, but let's welcome Gregg Hennum to the show. Gregg, you've already met our co-hosts down here, Peter and Chili. And normally we're talking about 1,000-foot ships, but as the craziness with what's going on in the world right now is going on, we have stretched out, and we are trying to introduce our customer base. As many as 10,000 people, by the way, in the next 7 days. We'll see you, Gregg. So glad you got the Sportsman's Lodge. Keep it. There you go. Yeah. You're looking good. Keep it pressed out there. We'll see you, and a chance to invite people for those that are American, to stay right in the United States. You don't need a passport for anything you do. Is that right?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, no, we run our camp that can only get to by water or ice road. We've come up with a solution to cruise across the lake in our charter boats, eliminating any sort of, there's picture one, eliminating any sort of customs need. and you're fishing in the north end of the lake of some beautiful, beautiful area of Lake of the Woods, and it's been a great summer.
And I hear that it's been a great summer up there. A lot of people, of course, wanting to stay separate and really respecting the situation that we've been put in, realize that they can take their family, who, of course, they're intimate with as far as getting close, and they can get away and get out into some of this territory here. This is a piece of Garden Island. This is about halfway between Gregg's south end operation and the north end. And this is where you get to stop for a shore excursion. And not only is Gregg the driver of the boat when he's out there doing it, but he's also, look at that.
Oh boy,
The cook.
What are you cooking
the
there?
cook.
Greg? What are you cooking?
That is fresh walleye we caught probably an hour before we threw them in the pan. And I'll tell you what, there's absolutely nothing like eating fresh walleye on a beach at noon.
It is as good as lobster from the pots over in Maine, or fresh calamari, coming off the Amalfi Coast. When you have, I will stand our American fresh walleye out of the water up with any seafood anywhere. Of course, not sushi, because I've never eaten sushi, so I wouldn't have any idea what that is, because God intended fish to be cooked, and there's nothing like cooking it this. Now, I will, at the beginning of the show here already, I'll let you all in on a trick. If you want to have absolutely the best deep fried fish in the world, and it's sitting right there in the pan. Do you see it? Do you see what he's doing there? Do you see what he's got going there? He's also making deep fried onion rings. And that takes away the onion salt, onion powdery kind of flavor, and just imbues. That's the big word of the day, by the way, Chili. You want to make a note?
I'm making making notes already.
That imbues the fish with the greatest back onion flavor without making it, be the forefront. Sometimes ladies will grab that onion salt and just go to town on it. It doesn't do that. And it just brings out the freshwater taste of that walleye. And I don't know how they do it, but what do you do, Gregg? Have you ever been skunked? What do you do when it's shore lunch? Do you feed them Cheerios, or what happens?
You just fish a little longer, but no, we have not been skunked. And no. No, that doesn't happen. This is the walleye capital of the world. I mean, we got nothing to worry about.
Talk about confidence, huh?
Yeah.
So
Gretchen, by the way, from Ohio, pops in and says, "Good afternoon, guys." She loves the walleye in Ohio.
All right. Well, it's good there too. It's good there too. We would like to think
absolutely.
that we would like to think that maybe the Minnesota, Canada walleyes are a little better, but walleye, if you can find it, do not pass that fish up if you can find it absolutely anywhere, because it's.
I agree. I love most any kind of fish, but I'm real freshwater fish. I'm real partial to walleye, especially fresh caught one. There's nothing better.
I mean, I have to admit, guys, sadly, in the UK, as you probably know, the closest I normally get is the fish and chip shop. Yeah. So that's really kind of cheating, which we're famous for in the UK, our fish and chips. Yeah.
Well, it's not bad though. It's not bad if that's what you have, because it is fish and it is good, and they sure do know how to make chips. So,
but the secret is the onion rings. That's the secret.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It just does it. It does it so well. Well, let's get a map out here, and Gregg, maybe you can give us a little bit of a tour. You see the map there, Gregg? Gregg has a kind of a short connection, so he may not. We're always going to hear him, but we may not always see him here. So go ahead, Gregg. Show us what we're looking at here.
Yeah. So bottom right there is our main lodge, which is on the mouth of the Rainy River. That's our main Sportsman's Lodge, and then that's kind of our tip-off point for our cruise. Transport boats leave up to our upper left there, to our Oak Island camp, which is all still in Minnesota. Everything green on there is Minnesota. Everything in that yellow color is all Ontario, Canada. So it's about 36 miles one way. And this summer, with our situation we're in, we've probably literally tripled the number of runs, number of transports we need to make to keep up with demand. not only because we're busy with people looking for outdoor recreation, families, groups, everybody's looking to get outside and enjoy some fishing. Canada's closed, so we've gained a lot of market share from people that normally go to Canada. And just, it's the only way to get there. So you can't, like John, you said that you can normally drive within 9 miles and then take the short boat ride from mainland. But now we've got to the point where this is kind of a lifeline to the Northwest Anglin Islands. So we've not only hauling our own guests, other guests from other resorts, other people that have their cottages up there, their cabins, their summer places that they want to get to, freight, mail, minnows, bait. I mean, we're hauling, you name it. We've hauled parrots, we've hauled pigs, we've hauled whatever.
I've got a question, John. I can't see you. Sorry, John. I can't.
Oh, okay.
I've got a question.
Yeah.
Because obviously I'm in the UK. Can you see me, John? I can't see you.
We see you. Yeah, you're fine.
No,
yeah.
I don't see you.
No.
I've got the.
We got the map. There you go.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah. I've got a question because I'm in the UK, so I don't know much about the Minnesota and exactly where it is and the geography part of that. You're opposite Canada. I didn't realize that. So, a question. Yeah. Do you need a passport? Do you need a passport to go to your lodges, Greg?
Absolutely not. No, we're all Minnesota based. All of our fishing's done in Minnesota this summer. On a normal year, we do a lot of fishing in Canada, but even though we go into Canada to fish for the day, we do not touch land, and no passports required. You just need a Canadian fishing license, which you can get online or on your phone. But no, you don't need any sort of passport. You're in Minnesota waters all the time, and it's certainly an extremely unique part of the world. Little hidden gem. Lake of the Woods is 1 million acres of water. So Minnesota only has a portion of that, and it actually has, I think it's 14,000 islands, if I'm not mistaken. John, you probably know that fact, but
right about that. Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
We've got, and there's more shoreline on this lake than there is Lake Superior. If you know how big one of the biggest Great Lake is. And that's one of the things that makes the fishery so strong is all this rocky shoreline we have that is just a breeding grounds for walleyes. Hence, that's the walleye capital of the world. So we've got more walleyes than any place on the planet. So,
by boat, how long does it take you to go from Lodge 1 to Lodge 2?
When the water's decent, we can do it in an hour. So we tell our guests an hour to an hour and a half, depending on stops and what type of water we've got to deal with. So.
Now, just for reference, the Garden Island that you saw that fish fry on the shore excursion, if you see the big island here in the middle of the lake and then look to the left of it, kind of a little wing there is Garden Island. And then we were on the north side of it, kind of in the crux. That's where there's a dock there. I guess that's a public dock, Greg, or is that?
Yeah, it's actually a state park. So
okay, yeah.
State park. So there's a geocache that sometimes we take people up there to find the cache and mark it off their list and checklist. And families and adventurers like to go up there and hike around, and we leave them there for a couple hours and pick them up on our return trip or whatever.
Oh, wow. Now, is there ever any bear out on this island? Do they find their way out there ever, or wolves? Or?
Yeah, I'm sure more bear. Matter of fact, I saw my first bear of the season here about a week ago. It was swimming between island to island, a real small one, but the people sure enjoyed taking some pictures of it.
Wow, yeah. Amazing. So on the Canadian side, then you basically follow the border between Minnesota and Ontario as you go from one end to the other of your properties.
Yeah, that's a very good reference. That's pretty much our run is following that border trek. It's a pretty straight shot and works pretty well with some cover from some of the islands if you do get some wind. But we also do this in the wintertime too. So we're going between resorts all winter as well with our bombardiers. I think John's got a picture. Yeah, there we go, right there.
This is Greg's personal one, by the way, we might point out. I think that he's taken it to the custom shop on one of those channels on on TV and done just a little bit of customization here.
So, John, you've just another question from a naive person.
Yeah.
So, the lake freezes up in the winter, obviously. Yeah, that's correct.
Yes.
Wow. Yeah. Okay. I
Greg,
want one of those.
tell them to the extent that it freezes up. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
no,
mean, how thick is the ice?
we've had years where it gets up to 50 inches.
50 inches.
50 inches.
Wow.
I mean, we
So a
start-
meter and a half.
Pete,
Yeah.
even I could walk out there and I wouldn't fall in.
So when does it happen, Greg? When does it freeze over? When does it go from this incredibly beautiful lake where you're out fishing, and obviously we're going to talk about that at some point, to it freezes up and you can drive across it and jump across it as Chile would love to. Gretchen says beautiful country, by the way.
There you go. Yeah, no,
When
I
does
would
that
say
happen?
on an average year by December 10th, we are ice fishing a full bore. When I mean full bore, anywhere from up to 100 plus people a day fishing, and then our roughly 100-day season of ice fishing, which goes till about the end of March. So we're bringing people full service transportation to and from the house, bait, poles, tackle, fish cleaning's all taken care of for you. You just catch the fish and then and cook them up at night and stay for 2, 3, 4, 5 days. And so and then the ice obviously just gets thicker and thicker and thicker. And we had extensions to our ice augers and started driving bigger vehicles out there. And but yeah, 3, 4 feet of ice is nothing new to us. So you can do some pretty extreme stuff with a lot of ice like that. So.
I guess you have to time it right, don't you, when the ice is thick enough? Because me being a complete idiot, I'd probably go out there when it hasn't quite frozen over yet.
Yeah, no, once you get 4 or 5 inches, you take your snowmobile out there and you start picking around. And then with no snow and 0 degrees, you can gain an inch a night. So you can kind of gauge on where you're at. And we're out there every day in the spring or in the early winter. So we have a pretty good idea what we're up against. And
I've got to ask a really stupid question, which is me, who knows nothing about fishing, but I have seen these programs where they cut holes in the ice and they fish into the ice. Can you do that?
That's
what
exactly
he's talking about.
That's what we're doing.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay,
But
I'm
Pete-
with you now.
But Pete, we don't just do that. First, we bring out a house and put it on the ice
Wow.
that has beds, toileting, kitchening, and then in the 4 corners of the house are little doors that you lift up down to the ice, and then you can fish through that 24/7. You can sit there and fish until you catch your limit. So you're out on the ice. You can literally be out on the ice either all day, and they'll pick you up with one of those limousine hard water machines that we were talking about there, and bring you back to the comforts of their on either end, or you can stay out on the ice all night. And then we're going to talk about an exciting thing that might happen when you do that, which Greg should get what I'm talking about when I do this. But Pete, you can stay out there.
Julie,
Guys, you don't stay more than a couple of days probably, but guys actually go out and live on the ice. They're called ice castles, and it's a roaring business in Minnesota. The builders that outdo each other. Some people have wind generators on the top of them and solar cells, and there's a couple of places. Now, Greg, do you have an ice bar off of yours, or?
We particularly do not, but there's one in reach, and we do tours where we'll put a group in a bombardier and go through the woods, and we can go over to Zipple Bay State Park, and which they call it the Igloo. Very fitting. So very cool spot to go.
So they have an ice bar just like the Epic has on board. That's my joke when I'm on the Epic and they have the ice bar, and it's like, why do I want to do that? We call it April in Minnesota. So, I mean, it's no big deal. But yeah, so there's all of these things and where did Pete go? Pete's on his way. I think you got a customer coming your way there, Greg. Greg. So it's just amazing to be able to do that and have some fun. So it sounds like on purpose you've chosen not to put a bar out there on the ice. Probably a good choice. But these things are available. And so people can do that. So Chili, where did Pete go? Is he writing you something?
You have to be sober to be out there on the ice, I think. I'd fall in.
Pete, we thought you were heading to Minnesota. We thought you were leaving.
Away, yeah.
First trip.
He's
First
the
trip.
kid for me. I'm so sorry.
Allison says
Away.
that's one of our Scottish ladies. She says Pete's on his way with his fishing rod.
Yeah.
And Julie Davis says sounds great.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but I do have poor connection here for some reason. No idea why.
It's all your friends that are on watching us today. So
Probably, yeah.
now the other thing that of course is really awesome if you're out, well, if you're anywhere up there and you get away from any kind of lighting on your cabin or anything like this, is we are just totally used to, oh, I got to make it a foreground, not a background. We are used to this. This is a regular experience for us. And you talk about going to Norway and going all the way up to the Arctic Circle. Well, we're a long ways from the Arctic Circle, but when you get away from the lights in any way, shape, or form, you can see this dancing sky. And it is, I mean, I never tire of seeing it. And I'm sure, Greg, you don't either, for the hours and hours that you've been on the lake in the evening, but you always stop and just take that one more look.
Oh, absolutely. When you're cruising across the lake in the Bombardier to or from the island, and you get away from the lights of the resort area and town, yeah, it'll take your breath away. And this particular picture is right off the end of our dock, so this is dead of winter, and pretty cool deal.
That's something I've never seen.
You've never seen the Northern Lights?
Nope.
Okay, Chili, separate from everything, you got to at least get to here this winter, because there are times I can sit on the south porch of my house and they come from the north and they come over the house and you can see them on the south porch looking south. That's how extreme they get. Yeah. Yeah. It's just, well, there's a lot of things that take the name Dancing Sky. I'm sure that the Native Americans have that. It's in their vocabulary. I'm not versed on that, but I'm sure that's within the native languages in many different ways of the dancing skies, because it's so beautiful. So, Greg, let's talk. First of all, any travel agents? We know we have a lot of travel agents that listen to us, and over in the private travel agent section, we'll have a message there for you from Greg. But separate from that, let's just talk a little bit about pricing and things. We talk about that $600 to $1,000 might be a week on a cruise ship out of Miami in a double occupancy cabin. What's some kind of like just general prices for packages that might be? What do you offer? 3-day, 5-day, 7-day, 110-day? Do you have an around the lake package, like an around the world package, or what are we talking about?
Yeah. No, our most popular package is the 3-night, 2-day. When I say 2-day, that's 2 full days of fishing. So you say, for example, you come in on a Thursday, fish Friday, Saturday, you check out Sunday. Those are in the $500 range. $450 to $600 depending on. We do a meal package. Starts with dinner the night of arrival, goes through breakfast the day of departure. We do a shore lunch or a sandwich on the boat in the summertime, or you can do. We do a hot lunch. We deliver right to your fish house in the winter. But yeah, custom packages. We do packages where you in the summertime where you fish your way up to our Oak Island camp, stay overnight on the island for a night or two, fish your way back. Those are probably still $600 to $800 depending on how many people in your group. Wow. But very good value for the experience you get and the the area you're in. Sure. A lot of full service stuff. So everything's included. You can show up here with your clothes and your camera, and that's it. And even in the wintertime, you don't need a snowsuit. You don't need you should have a decent jacket and some good shoes, but you don't need to go, you don't need to be dressed up like an Eskimo when you go ice fishing with us, because they're heated transportation. The houses are heated when you get there. Simple.
I'd be dressed up like an Eskimo.
He's a wimp. So how about cell phone coverage? Is it pretty much all the way now or halfway or?
Verizon works the best. We have cell service for us with in the bombardiers and the boats. Easy to call, text all the time. Couple other service providers are not so good, but still good enough to get communications. But yeah, it's getting better all the time.
So there's pretty much people can stay in touch, certainly at each end, and then there's internet
Absolutely,
at both and internet at both ends. So you can stay connected if you need to do that, and you don't need to arrive with much more than just appropriate clothes for traveling in the winter. If it's winter time, in the summer. How about sunshine and heat, and what do you need in the summer? Is it bikini weather or?
As you know,
I can't see you in a bikini.
Oh, you haven't seen me? You haven't seen?
Well,
no,
I mean chilly, maybe chilly, but you know.
Well, you know, John, we have very hot Minnesota summers, hot and humid summers, and very cold winters. So yes, we had a lot of days in the 75, 85, 90 range this summer. Now we're getting into fall, so our leaves are changing. Great time of the year to be up here. And then in the winters, we have, 0, 5, 10, 20, 30 below. So it's 40 below, yeah, with the wind chill. But it's an awesome time of the year to be up here, and you get to the point where 5, 10 below is you leave your gloves off. You just get used to it. So,
Greg, go chilly.
All right, now I'm a wuss. I completely admit I'm a wuss. In the heart of the summer, in the hottest day, how cold is the water in the lake?
We get 73-ish, 74.
I need a wetsuit.
That peak is like, it goes like it lasts a few days, and then we're already up in the upper 50s, the water temperature. So 58, 60, we've already lost some water temperature, and we've had some frost, 1 or 2 mornings of frost, so it gets a little foggy, but it's September.
The question I have, Greg, is that you're 12 months of the year then, from what I see, because you've got different things happening in the winter and in the summer. Now, from what I've seen, it just looks stunning in the winter with that beautiful lake, iced up with the northern lights. But do you do anything for Christmas? Because I can imagine what an incredible place to stay for Christmas and the New Year.
Well, to be honest with you, we don't fish Christmas Eve or Christmas Day. It's our only 2 days off in our 100-day season. But we get more and more every year. We get people checking in Christmas Day to go fishing the day after. So it's a pretty neat time of the year. But between Christmas and New Year's is probably our busiest week of all 52. Kids are out of school. Well, the families are everywhere. We got an indoor pool here. We got live entertainment in the bar. So a little bit of everything. People are bringing their snowmobiles with.
And does Santa Claus turn up for the youngsters at all? Does
you'd be surprised to tap you on the shoulder.
Yeah, I mean, I could, if not, we have, John and Chili might be available.
Oh no, I'm not a good Santa.
Yeah.
No, I go right for. Have you been a good little boy this year?
I don't have enough hair to be Santa.
What in the year, if you're not a big fisherman, but really you want to have the experience. So let's talk separate, summer and winter, and you want to kind of have the experience. And you catch some fish. You don't. It's not. You're not one of those diehard home of economy workers that's there so they can get a discount on rods and reels. When do you suggest to really hit the experience mark in the summer?
In the summertime, we don't have a real dip in when I can say the best or the worst is. A lot of it's just hitting the weather right. I mean, in Minnesota, if you don't like the weather, just wait 5 minutes. It changes a lot. I mean, but our Junes are good. Our Julys are very busy. So it's, somewhere in there, probably, I would say if I had to pick something, June, July.
I know nothing about fishing at all, Greg, to be honest with you. I admit that. But what fish? What are the fish that you can catch in the summer? What are they? Which ones?
Walleye, number one. Walleye right there. Yeah, walleyes are number one.
Is that John?
That's me. Yeah.
Where'd you get the fish?
That's me. Yeah. This is me. This is
Greg,
Greg.
I've got to ask a question. Did John actually catch those? Or was he posing for them, pretending? Because I have a story about people posing for fish.
He nailed them things. We got them all. That's the walleye there. That's our bread and butter fish right there.
Are you sure? Did anybody see him catch it? You know, he could have sneaked it on board. You never know.
There he is. He's a witness right there. Two of us had to hold this fish up. This one is like 12, almost 13 pounds.
What fish is it? What is that?
That's a walleye. That's a right there. That's a genuine Minnesota walleye right there.
And you can eat those.
Oh yeah.
Man, they're
delicious.
No bone. You can, Greg, I bet you blindfolded, Greg can fillet that fish and no bones.
Yeah. There's a lot of delicacy there.
A fish of that size, how many people would that feed? That looks huge.
Yeah, that's a little bit bigger than average fish there. That one that Joe's holding up there, and even those two are pretty good sized fish. But when we do shore lunch, we clean up the small, 15, 16 inches and figure about a fish and a half per person for a shore lunch. That's a pretty good.
Greg, what's the biggest fish and the most proud catch that you've ever had? Oh my goodness. Wow.
Well, there you go. There's a sturgeon right there. Yeah, that's right in front of the resort right there. Those are kind of a prehistoric dinosaur fish. Look at that one. That one's that's right out our front door. We catch those fish in the springtime and in April. And then in the fall again in October we target those fish.
I just saw that's an unofficial state record. Is that correct? A state record for the size of that fish.
Yeah, that was a number of years ago, but that was in April. The guys wearing shorts. We had a kind of a abnormally warm day during our tournament.
Does Sportsman's Lodge, do you hold any records? Are you actual current holding of any records of fish size?
I don't know. Certainly not for walleye, but we probably have some records for sturgeon for what we've done with our tournaments and our anglers that we've done for our last 15 years. We've had sturgeon tournaments, so pretty fun deal. And again, that's literally right out our front door, like out in front of in the river, right out in front of the dock.
Am I guessing that you have to be an experienced fisherman to have any hope of catching fish like that?
Absolutely not. That's what we do every day. Those are all guide boats right there. So you and your party of 6 get on there with an experienced captain, and you're out from 8 to 5 during the day, and you're off and running, and he's there to take care of you and take care of making sure you catch your fish.
So someone as stupid as me, who's only ever fished once in my whole life, could catch something like that.
Yep. And we'll get you something a little bigger than John's. Don't worry.
I do have a very quick story. I've only ever been fishing once. I'll be as quick as I can with this story. Yeah, only been fishing once in my life. It's in Gran Canaria, where they have like records for like tuna and marlin, I think. And I went out on this boat, and half the boat was British holidaymakers in Gran Canaria. And we'd been out the night before, and we were a little bit tipsy as well, to be honest with you, my mates. And the other half of the boat was full of Germans. Yeah, so there's a whole load of rivalry between the Brits and the Germans, as you would expect. Yeah, unfortunately, we were fishing the whole day, and nothing was biting. And I was put at the back of this boat with these 2 tiny little fishing rods. Yeah, everybody else was strapped in with these big rods and trying to catch everything. I didn't got a clue what I was doing, so I had a tiny little fishing rod at the back. Didn't catch anything, all gutted, all disappointed. We're now heading back to harbour, and before we got into harbour, the German guy next to me with a little rod as well, his rod bit suddenly, and all the Germans were cheering and stuff like that. He was starting to get really cocky and moving it up. At the same time, my rod bit. And I was like, what do I do? What do I do? I haven't got a clue what to do. Yeah, I was with my friend Sean, thank goodness, and he was like talking to me through doing this, and the Germans were laughing, and they were all clapping his friend. And anyway, the German guy reeled up his fish, nothing, gone. It had escaped. Yeah, I panicking like a complete idiot, reeled it all up. I'd caught this huge tuna, this massive tuna. And we got it on the ship, and I was the only person on the whole fishing trip to catch a fish. And on the way back, every single German was saying, "Can I have a photograph of your fish, please?" The only time I've ever fished in my life.
From somebody that has fished before, it's been a long time, but I have done some fishing in my life. What's the difference in walleye fishing and sturgeon fishing as far as bait, gear, etc.?
Walleye fishing, you're typically drifting with, you're moving some at anywhere from half to 1 mile an hour, drifting with a sinker and a worm harness, which is a 3-hook rig, or a minnow or a shiner. That's the standard weight, or a jig minnow on it. A sturgeon fishing is when you're at anchor and you've got kind of a smorgasbord of bait. So worms, some guys use worms and minnows. Chicken, I've heard some rotten chicken deals. They get, nasty stuff. So the sturgeon kind of they're at bottom. So you're throwing that thing out there and it's just sitting on the bottom right there, and then you're just waiting for them sturgeon to find that. And they're real gentle fish. They don't have any teeth in them, so they're kind of like a big vacuum cleaner. They got a mouth that just kind of goes along the base of the mud bottom river and just picks up these baits and right there. And they bite really light. I mean, your tip of your rod is just, versus a walleye it's got some bite, it's got some strength, it's got a little attack. But you can do both. Sure. We can do both in the same trip.
Do you have any muskie up there?
Oh, do we have muskies? Lots of muskies. Yeah, lots in the 40s and 50-inch ranges. I've heard of some couple of 54 or 55s caught this summer, and that's us being only limited to Minnesota because we're not allowed to go to Canada this summer. So we've been very fortunate to be able to have the muskie fishery that we have that we didn't really know about in Minnesota because nobody really fished in Minnesota because you got this grand Canada to go fishing in every day, and now we've been limited to Minnesota, and we've done well above average as far as what can be done. So, and crappies.
Where in the lake is it, Greg? Where do you go? What area? I mean, I don't know the need to know the secret place, but where in the big picture is it?
It's just south of Oak Island. These rock piles that are south of Oak Island area, Sugar Point area, and every little point up and cranny that these guys have been casting and working on. It's been working way better than expected, but this lake is incredible. It's absolutely incredible. It's one of the best freshwater fisheries in the world. You just got to come and try it and check it out to be able to believe what I'm telling you. So
there's another kind of fish. We should talk about this. This is northern pike over in Europe. You probably call it a pickerel. They're incredibly tasty, but they're full of bones, and some really skilled people can actually harvest them and get rid of most of the bones. But this is the fighting fish, like a muskie. A chili, you would want to catch this. Even a fish half this size is an unbelievable fight. It's fun. You get one of those on when you're used to catching walleyes that are kind of a placid. Think of a walleye as a grandmotherly fish, and these muskies, and of course these northerns. These are the young teenagers these are angry fish that want to get off the line, and they want to get off right now. And so this would have been a hell of a fight for this guy.
Yeah.
Greg, whereabouts might this have been caught?
Oh, same area, man. Those the muskies and the northerns are kind of in the, they're amongst themselves, but muskies kind of rule over the northerns. Muskies like the rocky shorelines. They're after the big meals, where these northern pikes are. They're maybe shallower water, maybe a little more weedy areas. That's what the markings on them, so they can use their markings to hide. But yeah, no, we have multi-species here. Smallmouth bass too, perch, crappies. Too. We have an area on Lake of the Woods that you can catch lake trout on. So,
Margaret's asked a question. And she said, apart from fishing, I mean, what else do you offer? I'm guessing that if you're not into fishing and you wanted to stay in the lodge and stay where you are, what is there to do, and what do you offer?
Yeah, absolutely. So we have a sightseeing trips. We do lake tours. We have ATV trails. We're into hunting right now too. some goose hunting too. But
Oh yeah, I forgot the goose hunting. Yeah.
but there's birding is a huge thing. There's wildlife trails, nature tours we can line up. Fishing.
Golf. There is some golf around there.
There's a couple of golf courses in the area.
And a bar.
Casino in the area. And
I remember you said earlier that
in the area.
that you have in the summer, I guess, I will be right in the summer. You have bears wandering around.
Sorry, hang on a second here. You said bears?
Yeah, I mean, is that correct? You have bears wandering around? Is that right?
Yeah, I mean, they're pretty elusive as well, just like most wildlife. But yeah, they're tricky to see. But what you see the most is white-tailed deer. There's a herd you would imagine on white-tailed deer up here. So, but a lot of birds, a lot of ducks and geese, and those type of things are all over. And so.
Let me tell you, Pete, we went looking for bear when I had some people up from somewhere. I don't remember where. We went out looking literally for 2 days. We went looking for bears. We went to the dump yards, because bears, like up at Churchill, you've seen the polar bears where they dump the garbage. We went everywhere. We couldn't find a bear to save our butts. So they're packing up and they're leaving, and they're driving out of Arneson's, which is kind of in the other corner of the lake than where Sportsman's is. They're driving out of Arneson's and they take the big curve out of the place, and there's a mother and 2 cubs. I mean, it's just this random moment that you might see one. But I worked my butt off for 2 days to show them bears. No chance. They're just, there wasn't anything around. All of a sudden, they just accidentally, at a moment, stumbled across one. So it's don't come to see bears because you'll be disappointed. On the other hand, you might get a moment.
Us in the UK, obviously, it's like incredible that these bears just kind of walk around. And we had Lady on the show a few weeks ago who told us that because she goes hiking where bears are, and she has this bear spray, which I find extraordinary, that to try to protect yourself.
And there's little bells too.
Yeah, we got some of our Scottish. I got to ask this another stupid question, Greg. Yeah, another stupid question, but I got to ask it because our Scottish ladies are watching. Yeah. And of course, they're in Scotland, and Scotland is famous for the Loch Ness Monster. So I got to ask, have you got anything like that in these lakes? And have you seen anything like that?
There is. There's the giant, not catfish, but one of these. We've just been talking about it, that comes around Rocky Point every few years.
Yeah,
it's as big as a boat.
A dinosaur fish.
Yeah, we do have Willie Walleye here, but he's been caught and mounted for years. But
he got caught. No, there's a sturgeon. There's a sturgeon that comes around the east, and it's as big as one of the little fishing boats. The people have been out and driven by it. There's pictures of it.
Gretchen has asked, have you seen Sasquatch?
Have we seen Sasquatch? Probably multiple times.
And Emily's got a question here. Have you seen bunkerfish? When we go kayaking, our instructors always point them out to us.
Bunkerfish.
What the hell is a bunkerfish?
Looking it up.
Alison says there's only one Nessie, by the way. Yeah. I don't know what a bunkerfish is either. Unless it's like a Loch Ness Monster fish.
Atlantic and Gulf of Mexico. Oily little filter feeders swim in schools. They can be seen by aircraft. They're often called the most important fish in the sea. They're a little like perch, about this long. Bunkerfish.
Okay. Emily says, do you see them?
No.
I've never seen those before.
They do have a secondary fish to the walleye, though, that's quite interesting. And you actually get a separate limit on them in Lake of the Woods. And they kind of look like a walleye, but they have a different tail marker on them. And when you fry them up, they taste the same. Go ahead, Greg.
Yeah, it's called the sauger or the sog-eye. They're more brown than the greenish walleye or the golden walleye. They have spots on their dorsal fin, and like a walleye has a real white tip on the bottom of its tail, where the sauger has virtually no white tip. So like I say, they're a little bit overall smaller fish, but you flay them up, put them on the plate, you'll never know the difference.
They're especially in the colder water times. They're just delicious, and you process them the same. The bones are in the same place, so like I can slice them and dice them and and make them just as good. So,
Yep.
well, Chili,
wanted
you're shaking your head, Chili, like I got to get up to Minnesota. You're
Yeah.
coming, right? You're going to come and do this, right? We're
Yeah.
Sonny has said cross-country skiing.
Yes.
Can you
There's some
ski
of that.
there, I guess? Can
Yeah,
you
absolutely.
ski there, Greg?
Yeah, we have a great set of trails at the Zippo Bay State Park, which is 6-7 miles from the lodge. We actually help groom those every week. They have a couple candlelight skis there during the winter.
Wow.
Fantastic area to be to take advantage of.
I'm telling you, if we were saying it in jest, I think you need to get with your tractor thingy out there on the ice and put a rope back there and put somebody in back there on skis going
can do
across
that.
the ice. A new
Emily.
sport.
Emily, yeah. Emily just put I love skiing, yeah. So let's get Emily on the back of that. I think that'd be fantastic, yeah. With the GoPro on her head, yeah.
Yeah.
Get Emily on there with the GoPro, yeah. We want to see that video, Emily, definitely.
Just so you know, Greg, Emily is our adventure person. She kayaks all around the world and often puts live videos up there of her and in all sorts of precarious positions. So
That looks like a limousine, doesn't it?
well, yes, but the limos are. See, here's the limo ones, and by the way, these are made by We in this region of the country say bombardier, but you've heard the word bombardier. That they make a lot of the smaller airplanes that you guys fly in when you're coming from a small airport to the hub. You know, you're in the RJs, the regional jets. They're made by Bombardier. That's the same company that originally made these. These go back to World War II. The design of these before snowmobiles were invented. We're the first snowmobile. Now these have been stretched out to make accommodations for their guests, but they're just incredible snow machines. And of course, someone did ask, what if they go under the ice? They don't go under the ice. There are blow up bags on the front and the back that should there be an incident, they go down like about 2 feet and they're stuck there. They float like a boat at that point. So,
And has that happened?
in the old days, yeah.
So if someone like myself in the UK or Scottish ladies or any of us watching in the UK, if we wanted to book to come over and have this incredible experience, how would we do that? How do you do that, Greg? How would we book with you from the UK? Is that possible?
You can simply give us a call. You can go to our website. You can look us up and put an inquiry on our website. We have someone at the front desk office area 7 days a week for just 10, 12 hours a day. So that's the easiest. To give us a call. Check our website out. There's multiple places on our website where you can click and put an inquiry in. Send your contact information. We can call you back and help line up all the details.
We have lots of cruises, obviously, that we know in our groups, our pages, and I think what an incredible idea is if you are going to go on a cruise in the States to experience something like this first, kind of experiencing the real America in some ways. It's absolutely incredible.
In the summer months, how are the mosquitoes?
What is this mosquito thing you speak of, Chili? I don't. What is that?
Yeah, you know what mosquitoes are.
They've killed all the ones that can carry away children. It's a rumor that the ones that can carry children are completely gone now. There's none of those left.
Yeah,
So
they were there, yeah.
Small shotgun and a handful of birdshot, and there you go.
Yeah. So.
But no, at this certain times of the day, the mosquitoes, dusk is about really the only time they really bother you, and that's about it. So start a good campfire. Hopefully there's a little bit of breeze and you're good. Throw a little off.
Greg, when is your absolute favorite time of the year there? Your own personal favorite time of the year?
Christmas Eve. He told you the 2 days that they're not running.
That doesn't count, Greg. It's not working.
Yeah, no, I enjoy the fall. Summer's coming to an end. Leaves are changing. Time to go hunting. We do a lot of hunting with our kids and all that. Fall's the best time of the year, in my opinion. But I do like the winter time too. It's a lot of fun up here in the winter. So
what would the temperature be in the fall, for instance? What sort of...
if you get when I say fall, I'm talking like late September, October. If you get a nice afternoon in the 50s, sun shining in the 50s in the fall, it's like nothing else. Then you get some 40s and 30s in the evenings. But those are the days, man. It's just nothing better. So,
and John always talks about the Northern Lights there, something I've never seen, the Northern Lights, something I want to see one day. And obviously I can go to Scandinavia and maybe see the Northern Lights, or Alaska, I'm guessing, but Minnesota as well, where you are. I mean, how often do you see the Northern Lights in your winter?
Oh, it's several times. There's actually some pretty good websites that kind of project that and give you some ideas of, with your clear skies. But it doesn't take, if you keep an eye on it and you're up late enough, if you get away from the light, which we are, especially on the island, very little. I mean, you're crow flies, you're 50, 60 miles from the nearest town. So you don't get the light pollution. So it really lights up the sky, and the stars up there are like nothing else. I mean, it is unbelievable.
And you say late at night. What time do you mean? You're talking 2 in the morning or 10 at night?
No, it doesn't take that. I mean, it's shortly after dusk, but so it doesn't have to be. You don't have to wait up all night, 3 in the morning until you're going to see them. And it's when it gets dark.
I mean, Chili would be up anyway, so having a drink, wouldn't you, Chili, in the bar?
I've been known to.
Yeah, well, our days are pretty short up here in the wintertime, so by 4:30 some days it's getting dark. So yeah.
Sonny agrees with you, by the way. Sonny says full time. Yeah, absolutely. It sounds.
By the way, Joel's with us. Joel says good day, y'all.
All right. Well, the time is passing fast here, and we want everybody to get in a last question or anything. So, Pete, any final thoughts or questions for Gregg, and your thoughts as the hour is zipping by? So, what are you thinking?
No, I just think it's a beautiful place. I really do. And I just think myself, I'm not really into fishing. I've never really fished before in my life, apart from once. So for me, I actually feel the winter time. I love the idea of coming over in the winter time, Gregg, and just experiencing the Northern Lights. It just sounds fantastic. It really does.
Good.
Well, even experiencing the cold, crisp temperatures, and some people are scared of it and they don't understand how they'd survive. But I'm telling you what, man, it's pretty awesome. 10, 15, 20 below, just kind of when the winds are light. It's just experiencing that. Yeah, it takes your breath away, but it's a unique experience that you first really try.
And most people haven't heard of it. I have to admit, when you talk about the Northern Lights, so many of us want to go and see the Northern Lights, and we don't even think about Minnesota and the lakes. So it's so good to know that it exists, and it just looks incredible. So I love that. I really do. Hopefully one day when I come and visit John, and I'll come to the Northern Lights.
As much of a wuss as I am when it comes to cold water, and I want to ice fish. I've never done it. I got to experience that and the Northern Lights. So you'll see me in the wintertime.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Gregg, this is your chance. Anything you want to tell our listeners from Poland and across Europe and all the way across America?
Yeah, well, we're in a very unique part of the world here, and we feel pretty safe and fortunate for basically what's going on in the world, and not really affected by a lot of things in today's world. So a lot of people are coming up here to experience that and to come check us out. And so we've been very busy, very fortunate to have that. So again, extremely unique part of the world. I guarantee you should try it once. You'll be back. I guarantee it.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure. Our guest today, of course. Thank you, Gregg. Stay right there. Stay in the green room. We'll be down there with you in just a minute. Our guest today, Gregg Hennum. He and his entire family, his father, he said, ran something like 11,000 miles of boat this year, just going back and forth, carrying supplies, guests, and all the supplies that they need on the other end, because that's how they supply their all the camps at the other end, and the bars and the kitchens and the laundry staff and everything that has to be done. So we say goodbye to Gregg for the moment, and we say thank you. And to the Cruise Amigos, guys, it's been a fun show. We're looking forward to doing this again, of course, next Sunday. If you're on YouTube, please like us, click subscribe, click the little bell so you get notifications when we're going to do this again. Of course, 2 o'clock next Sunday in Central Time, 3 o'clock in Eastern Time, 8 o'clock over there on the other side of the pond, where we come live to you from London. Facebook, please like us. We need those hits, folks. That's how we can keep doing this, is by you saying you like us. Tell your friends that you like this show. If you just check in with us a little bit every week, it really, really helps us. And it's the only way we can keep chili and bourbon, and that's the only way we can keep on the show. So we need you to do that, please. Anything, guys?
No.
I think we're going to have Sue Bryant with us next week.
Sue Bryant, sounds like fun. We are looking so forward to it. We will bid you all adieu. In the meantime, have a safe week. Keep social distancing. Keep wearing your masks until we figure this all out. And we'll see you.